you?
Good. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm over here trying to entertain my followers at the same time trying to adjust my camera.
I was like, oh, she got little soft tunes in the background. I felt so bad. Sorry about the delay. I was trying to get my
No,
mom off
you're
the
fine.
phone.
You're fine. You're fine. How are you doing?
As well as we can be. Today's a good day, so I'm going to take advantage and just go for a walk since that's all we can do.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's awesome. I love your hair.
Thank you, Will. You look
Yeah.
amazing. Are you
Oh,
going anywhere?
no, I got ready just for you. I might go to a grocery store. I need to buy some things that are essential.
I realized I start making excuses to go to the grocery store. I'm like, you know what? I need that today. Let me just go to the store.
So, I actually, I don't know. It's just really weird. Where are you? I'm in Atlanta.
I'm in New York.
Okay, yeah. I don't know how it is exactly up there, but in Atlanta, like everywhere you go, people have masks. And in the
Same.
stores, before, Georgia opened up completely.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just crazy because I read an article, we're being guinea pigs because the state can't afford to pay unemployment anymore. So they're like, well, we can't afford to pay all these people unemployment. So just open
Wow.
the shit up and we won't pay you unemployment if your job's open for you to do the job.
Are you
I'll send you the
serious?
link. Yes, girl. Yes. So the shit is real. I have a friend. He works also for the government and he's working at home. So for them to know that it's real and for them to set everybody else in the middle class to go back out to work, it's crazy.
Shows how much they really give a F about us.
Yeah, but long story short, I have to be very careful. I have to literally have a long enough list for me to go out to get the things I need because I have three boys and two of those children have asthma. So although I might not feel a certain way, it might affect them and it might affect them differently. So it's out
Jeez,
there. You just got to be careful.
Jeez, girl. I hope y'all are safe. And if you don't need to be outside, I hope you don't have to be out there.
Exactly. How is it in New York though? We hear all crazy shit going on in the TV. What's it really like?
It's surreal. Like it's still shut down. Liquor stores are essential. Um, so we living okay.
Oh,
Um, they let you do to-go drinks in New York, and I'm like, all right, Cuomo done fucked up a little bit by letting us do that because it means once this is lifted, I'm gonna still look for my to-go drink. Like, excuse me, I'm here for
excuse
my to-go
me,
order.
right? You must have
No, no,
forgot
I'm not
last
saying.
month
Just want
you
my shit to go.
saw me. Right. Is it normal? Like, is there really long lines outside of hospitals?
I think the scariest thing in New York is the death rate, of course, and the hospitals. My mother comes from the medical field, so like she'll call me on a weekday and tell me what her colleagues from when she used to work at a hospital are seeing and experiencing. Like what you see, the horrors that you see about bodies being in U-Haul trucks, like that shit is real, and that's the scariest part about New York, and that's why, yeah, other states may lift the ban, but thankfully our governor is like, we're not doing that shit here because our death rate is still way too freaking high. And of course, we're a concentrated city, but it's still scary to think of. And it's probably the only time New York has been through some trauma, so we know how to act. Thankfully, some of us, not everywhere,
Yeah, yeah.
but we're at least the majority of us are taking it as seriously as we can. So that's a
That's
plus.
good. That's really good. So I know Keisha, our mayor of the city of Atlanta, she's actually taking a great approach on everything. She's like, nah, this shit is not ready for reopen. We're gonna stay
I
locked down for
saw.
2 more weeks. And
Yeah.
the governor's like, fuck it, everybody open. You get a work day, you get a work day. Everybody gets a
And then
work
I'm seeing like
day.
how you guys are operating in them nail salons, and I'm like, look, now I'm guilty. My girl is a freelancer, so I got my shits done. But I'm like, y'all, if you have to do all of that, it's not
That
that
pinky
serious.
toe on my left foot, girl, it look alright, but it ain't got
I
no
done
nail.
ordered this shit on Amazon. Like,
Nail
look,
cut it
see,
off for
I'm
you.
about to learn how to do my own pedicures because y'all not about to catch me.
No, we good. This I did it myself. Too funny. But all right, so I'm glad to hear that you're taking it seriously. It's not a joke. It's affecting all of us. It's real. I'm glad that your mom's there giving you advice as to what to do, how to be precautious in these times. And thank you for, just looking out for us out here, because it's crazy because our governor doesn't really think more than just the money aspect of things.
Terrible.
But it's a struggle we're all in, and as long as we know how to take care of ourselves and our family and go about our day, I think we'll be all right.
I hope you guys make it through, girl.
Yeah, I hope we all make it through. But I didn't want to take up too much of your time. I know you busy. We probably got a whole lot of shit got going on in the house. So I have, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 questions total to ask you.
Let's do
I'm
it.
actually pretty excited. I did you get the questions, or do you want me to send them to you?
I got them. You want me to pull them up?
No, 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 no. It's
Okay.
cool. It's for you. If you want to, if you feel more comfortable, like having them, that's cool. I'll go ahead and just ask you, you'll answer, and then when we're done, you know?
Sounds good.
Okay, so to begin, do you want to tell our one follower currently, but a lot more people are going to view this? Do you want to say or let our followers know how they can find you on Instagram, on Facebook? Do you have a website? Do you want to tell them a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So you can follow me at RetroBarbie92 as well as at BlackMenCryToo TOO on Instagram. You can send me a Facebook request, but I'm not going to see it for 6 months, so
Yeah.
don't do that.
Right. So let me type it here. So it's retro, no underscore, right? Retro Barbie.
92, just straightforward.
Okay. I'll just put an at sign. Okay. Follow my sis. There we go. Let me know if that's right. That's right.
It didn't come up on mine yet.
No, let me check. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
I can write it out too. Hold on.
So like that.
There we go.
Okay. Winning. All right. So, first question that I have for you, is can you tell myself and the readers about yourself?
Sure. Let's see. I'm a Queens native, so I'm a New Yorker through and through.
Mhm.
I'm a content curator, a dot connector. I used to come from the event industry. I'm now in the tech industry, and I'm the founder of BlackMenCryToo, which is a digital web series where I'm inviting men of color to unpack their hurt and share their truth about their experiences being a man of color in America. And we dive straight into mental health. And basically, I'm encouraging men to express their emotions, their experiences. And the reason why it's me interviewing, a woman of color interviewing, is to show that men and women can have this conversation within our community when it comes to mental health, since it's such a taboo conversation. So I'm trying to break that stigma and show
Yeah.
that this is an open dialogue and we see them, we hear them, and we're here for them. And we're in this healing journey together.
Yes, ma'am. I love it. I love it. Hey. It's something that we don't hear enough of, it's something that's like, oh, suck it up, stop crying,
Man up.
this, be tough,
Mm-hmm.
No, they have emotions just like we do, and it's awesome to see that you're actually, allowing that platform for men to come to express themselves freely, knowing that it's okay. You have feelings, and it's okay for you to express them, and it's
Right.
okay for somebody of the opposite sex to hear you out and to encourage you to keep on doing that to help you. So that's awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so growing up and still to this day, who are your inspirations, your mentors, and how do they impact your life?
Um, so of course, growing up, I would attest it to my parents. I do come from a two parent household. I am biracial, so I have an Italian father and a West Indian mother. So that was
Hey,
interesting in itself.
you're right.
But my parents, of course, are my number ones. My sister as well. I have an older sister. She's been a cheerleader. But like outside mentors would be, I had interned for a known event planner in New York. She was an amazing mentor. She took me under her wing. She taught me like the ins and outs. There's other women that I look up to. Of course, there's like a Karen Civil, Jazzaray Allen, and I'm lucky to like know Jazzaray, and I've reached out to her recently during this transition of my job and me focusing on my brand. She's been a source and she's been a great mentor. Even my friends, like my tribe has been an amazing community for, you know, going to them and asking them their input, their insight, going to them, asking them for help, them being, you know, champions, lending a hand, sharing my stuff. Like, it's an array of people. And then of course you look up to like certain celebrities that you can't obtain, like Michelle Obama. Granted, she's not a celebrity, but you know, she's my friend in my head at the end of the day. But it definitely is like my tribe is really my inspiration, and they push me to keep going. But I do attest to mentors, and I do think people should reach out to those that they admire, because you never know who's going to say yes, and the person who says yes to you is the person that needed to say yes to you.
Yep, that's correct. And you know, just the fact that you were saying that besides your family, which is very important, you know, it's home. Supports you, but not just your family, but also your tribe, your family, your girlfriends, you know, your friends. That's very important. You have to hang out with like-minded individuals that actually see your vision, that support you. Otherwise, they shouldn't be in that circle.
Exactly.
Thank you. I'm just saying, if they see something that, you know, otherwise than what your goal is and what your plans are, then they don't belong in that circle. So it's very important that you have family and friends that support you. And of course, Michelle Obama, you know. Okay, that's awesome. Okay, so when did you realize that you had a passion for entrepreneurship?
I don't think I ever had like the aha moment in a sense. Truthfully, like entrepreneurship scares me, and it scares me because you just never know. You could take off or you can fail, and I'm one of those people who is like petrified of failure. But I failed publicly, I failed privately, and each of those failures have taught me different lessons. So I used to like consider myself an entrepreneur, where I was like an entrepreneur within my workforce, but I've always had my side hustles and my passion projects, and I've always invested more in them but never gave them a front seat. This is the first time I'm giving them a front seat. And in the 2-3 weeks of me dedicating my energy into my craft, seeing everything that's popping up, seeing the same testaments from friends from different areas of my life, my college friends, my high school friends, my elementary school friends, my mother, they're all like, I think this is the time for you to bet on you. Like, you've always struck us as this person who's not sitting down in a 9 to 5 and is just going to do some shit for yourself. And it's like, well, damn, well, if everyone else is seeing this, I got to start taking it too and moving forward with it. So I definitely do think that this weird time period that we're in has definitely fueled me a little bit more to take it more seriously.
That's good. That's really good. And that's what you need to do. You know, you need to bet on yourself. You're empowering others and helping others. And that's something that my mentor is, you know, telling me. She's like, Leslie, you have to remember, you come first. You know, you can't give to someone without you. And I'm like,
give it to yourself.
Yeah. And she's like, if you're that great at what you do, helping others, you're great at helping yourself. It's very important that we acknowledge that, especially as young entrepreneurs. We have to make sure that our gifts, like your gifts, nobody can have those. You're unique. You're unique and you're special, and you have to push yourself, and everybody else that believes in you, of course everybody around you believes in you.
For you.
We're just gonna keep on going. Yeah, it's a trailblazer. Let's see. Okay, so what inspired you to get into entrepreneurship full time and become your own boss? So what was that thing that, like, you know, you said there was no moment, but you know.
So truthfully, nothing ever made me do it full time. I was forced into doing it full time due to COVID. So I was laid off due to COVID, and in it was like, I'm not. First, I had my panic mode, and then it was, what am I rushing to apply to get back in the workforce? Like, look at outside. The workforce is shit right now. Everywhere else is on a hiring freeze. Why am I rushing? Rushing to do what? To do anything for a check? Like, thankfully, I was taught, you know, financial literacy, and I was taking my finances more seriously at the beginning of the year to give me opportunity to have a cushion. as well as I was already starting to look at, well, I want multiple streams of income. So what other streams of income can I focus on during this time?
Right.
So that's what really made me do that at this moment. Of course, now baby girl likes a 401k and some health insurance that she don't got to pay for. So if she's still looking for a job, you know, in some
Right.
time she will be. But
Right.
I'm
Right.
looking
Right.
for
Right.
different opportunities. Like I'm looking for more remote opportunities
Yeah.
or different hours where it's easier to balance. So I still have that security, but that security is allowing me the flexibility to focus on myself until I'm truly at a point where it's like, you know what? Thank you all for this opportunity. I'm out.
Right. That's everybody's dream. Deuces.
I'm out, y'all.
Right. But still having, like you said, that the flexibility of being able to do that, but also pursue your dream. And that's important.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I always tell people, you know, what will your job do if you just croak and die? And they'll replace you
They'll
in 48 hours.
help
And
wanted.
yeah, and I'm pretty sure they won't like send a thank you for all your help that your daughter or your son gave to us. They probably won't even give
Exactly.
that. And, you know, your family will have to pick up with the pieces of losing a loved one. But, you know, you have to take that into accountability. And I think that a lot of people are seeing that nowadays,
Yeah.
especially with COVID. It's like, how do companies treat their employees amongst a major crisis?
Pandemic.
Yeah, and if you can't treat us fairly, you can't care about us and our basic needs. Their basic needs, covering a roof over our head and our bills and food on the table, then you need to go ahead and engage in pursuing your dream. So it's very important that you have that equal balance once
Yeah.
you everything goes back. I don't think it'll go back completely to normal because
It's
what
not.
we're used to normal is just different. But you're right. You have to be able to have that balance where at the end you could be like, I'm good.
I'm out.
Yeah. Okay, so you're now the host of the podcast Black Men Cry Too. What influenced you to take on such a task? We kind of dabbled into that a little bit. Sorry. So we spoke about it a little. You had mentioned that you wanted to have this platform for men of color.
hmm So I've gotten more open with like the honest answer of how it came about and why I wanted to take this on. It's like a trifold effect that has been brewing for years and I didn't realize it. When I was 14, I had lost a best friend who was a man of color to suicide in high school. When I was right out of college, I was in a mutually abusive relationship due to the fact of both of our mental health issues at that time. And just recently, I left a situationship where I was in. Situationships are real, by the way. So I was in a
Yes, they
situationship
are.
with
Yes, they
a
are.
good dude who, you know, he had all this street cred. He was hard, but on multiple occasions, he would come here and be vulnerable, and I've seen him cry. And to see this like strong hood dude with all this street cred like break down on multiple occasions and literally treat me as his safe space, treat me like his therapist in a sense, and having more open conversations with, you know, my guy friends. One time I did a panel last year actually for mental health, and one of my guy friends told me, you know, you're talking about, you know, mental health journey. You've encouraged many of your female friends to go to therapy. There's a focus on, you know, Black women doing therapy. What about Black men? Black men
Mm.
cry too. And when he said that, I was like, hold on. Wait a
Oh,
minute.
I got goosebumps when you just said it, girl.
I was like, sir, I don't know what I'm gonna do with that, but I'm gonna hold that and I'm gonna make that
Right.
something. Just give me a sec and
Right.
it's gonna be something.
I own all
So,
rights to that. Just letting you know now.
but we had that conversation, so he knew I wanted to take it. So I didn't just steal it from him. We had
Yeah,
that
yeah,
open
yeah.
dialogue.
You know I'm all
Um,
joking.
and he was at least reasonable with it. He was like, "It's why I'm telling you because I know you would do something with it." And I was like, "Okay."
Yeah.
So from the situationship that I'm no longer in, he was the last like push for me to be like, you know what, it's time for me to take that seriously. And the
Yeah.
reason why I did it as a video is to show the men's like vulnerability, show their facial expression, show me as a woman of color sitting across and having this conversation in such a like easy, casual manner. Like my tone never gets elevated. I don't screw my face up whenever they start admitting things. Some people have admit things they've never admit before in life.
about it, like you said, in a setting where there's more people around. It's okay. So, yeah, man, that's deep. Okay. I think it's needed, man. That's awesome. Okay, so we're in a better space, to see someone that you look up to, you know, our young men, even our older men, like, yeah, you need to check her out now. But yeah, it's beautiful to see someone that they can relate to, they look up to, or they know. It'll give them that push. It'll give them that door to open to say, I want that too. I want that vulnerability. I want that off my chest. I want that off my shoulders. I want to feel like they feel. I want to feel open.
Free. I want to feel
free.
freaking free.
Exactly. Thank you. I'm just saying. But yeah, it's definitely going to do that. You know, it's opening the doors to a lot of help that we need for our men. Okay, so you're also a member of Forbes The Culture, the group organization. What has the experience been like for you?
I always like to be around like-minded individuals, and what I love about Forbes The Culture is, you know, media paints a certain picture of our community, and media loves to rip off our culture. So to see a group literally put together to showcase us in a different light, to represent our culture, it's been beneficial, and it's been a blessing to even be acknowledged, to be considered to be a part of that group. And I love seeing any groups of that nature like that, because I mean, the media loves running with the same story of us. Like, granted, now I love all these shows, but how many snowfalls and like the shies can we watch? And it's funny to see like the backlash that Black as Fuck got on Netflix, but it's like, these are some people's experiences as being a Black person or being a mixed person. And why aren't we sharing those stories as well? Why does it always have to be the same story of Black people that we see? Like, I come from a middle class American household. Granted, I also come from Southside Jamaica, Queens, so you know, we got best of both worlds. But I mean, my father wasn't selling fucking crack for me to survive, and I think that needs to be shown. Granted, now he had like 2 jobs, and I only saw him certain times, but that's a different story. It's New York and survival. But that's what I do love about Forbes, is especially now, like the Black millennial, the Black 20, 30 something year old, this is what we're doing. And we're so serious about ours. So start recognizing us for that.
Thank you. Girl, I don't think I have anything to add to that. You know, except thank you. But yeah, it's real. It's real. And we're taking it seriously, you know. We're breaking barriers. We're definitely doing it, and you're doing it, and it's awesome.
We're doing it. We're doing
it, but you're doing it. So yeah, I'll be sending a lot of people to you now. I'll be like, yeah, you need to check her out now. But yeah, it's beautiful to see that you know, the organization is shedding a different light to what we're really doing out here. We're not all that you know, we don't fit that box that they've made out for everyone to fit into. You know?
Right, that they've made out. We ain't make it, y'all made it.
Yeah, and now y'all want us to fit in it, but that's not us. We over here. And we're not even in a box. We're free. So let's see. So how does being a part of the organization that name carries so much weight in our community impact your brand?
I think it shows almost like, I don't know like proper ways to say this. I'm just gonna say it the way I want to say it.
Just say how you feel, girl.
It just shows one of those don't fuck with me type of things. Like, I'm serious about mine. I've put in the work for myself, and when they see certain like name association, it sort of gives you that, not the I deserve a seat at this table because I'm tired of like asking for a seat at this table. It's, well, now that I'm at your table, I'm learning and I'm stealing all of these notes the same way you steal everything from our culture, so I could build my own table and bring 10 of me to that table instead of having 10 of us fighting for that one seat at your rinky-dink table. So that's what something like that means to me, and that's what I utilize those opportunities for.
That's awesome. And that's true. You know, a lot of people don't see it like that. If the opportunity's not there, make it, learn from the situation, and go about your business, handle yours, make your opportunity, and then they'll be like, well, can we have a seat at your table?
Exactly. I'm like, ooh, sorry.
Right. I
I'll
can't.
have Susie get back to you.
Right. I'll have my assistant get back to you. But yeah, it's important that, you know, we support one another. And that's something I'm pretty big on. We have to support one another. That's big. And we'll get together and prosper if we actually do that. You know, we'll go a long way if we actually do that.
100%.
Yep, yep. Okay. Last year, you were an attendee of the Forbes 30 Under 30 Summit. Can you explain to us the energy, the culture, and attitude of the event?
If we're being truly honest,
Oh, okay.
I did not like the event.
Okay.
I mainly didn't like it for Forbes itself.
Mm-hmm.
I think they dropped the ball on numerous occasions, and majority of those occasions where they dropped the ball had to do with dealing with us.
Mm.
So it made me want to reach out and see, like, how can I get more involved because of being so, like, displeased by it. The way they handled the interviews with Quavo, with KD, Kevin Durant, with Serena Williams, looked like they were unprepared. They literally did it for the meme. They literally did it to obtain more of us there. But they handled it very poorly, and it was so poorly. It's one thing when you be sitting there and you're like, am I bugging right now, or is this shit trash? And then you see everyone else in the audience having the same type of, like,
Looking at
response.
each other, looking
Right,
at you
like,
like, did you see
did
that?
he really just ask him that? Is he still repeating the same question? Did he even do his research? Like, literally, it was the same sentiments across. So that aspect of it, I was not a fan of. When it came to Forbes, the culture, and where they placed them for their conversations, there was so many things going on. You can barely hear them. So here we are. This is, the information we really want to hear, and we can barely hear them.
Mm-hmm.
So the way they handled us, it was like you could tell it was a money move, it was a diversity move, and there was no actual, like, thought behind it or care behind it, and it showed. And that was, like, disheartening to see, especially for my first time. The one thing I did like was they did a lot of scholars. So I think about 1,000 students they sponsored to be able to attend the event, which, if I was a student and I get to go to Forbes Culture for free, I'm effing doing it. So that was dope to see. The Forbes Culture events, you were able to, like, kiki and rub shoulders with, like, us and more free without having to act all fake button up. Like, no, now we gonna swag surf or, twerk real
Right.
quick. So that
Right.
was the pleasure of it. And I think it was nice how they did it in Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
However, it's, Detroit is trying to come back. Like, I would have liked to see more community involvement and, talking to community members, business owners, even showcasing the different businesses in Detroit. Like, thankfully, I went with a girlfriend who was from Detroit,
Yeah.
and we were able to use different apps to find Black-owned businesses so we could support them and go to them. But they weren't even talking about that. You're just talking about the fact that you're partnering with Detroit and you're going to be here for 3 more years coming, but what are you doing with it? You're just bringing
Right.
people there and not telling them what else to do when they're there. You're just
Mm-hmm.
telling them to go to the gentrified areas. Like, nah, that's just not cool.
No, it's not. Wow. Yeah, that's real. You know, the misrepresentation of your culture when you're invited, it's like, why the fuck am I even here? You know?
You're
I'm gonna
using me as a
that
number
out
count.
the
Like,
article, but why the hell am
lame.
I here? You know? Am I being punked right now?
Right, right.
But yeah, so I think that it's important that, you know, these companies either see that we're serious about our cultures and the way they represent us, or we're gonna make our own shit. Like, you know, Forbes the Culture is something that clearly is doing it for the culture.
Right.
It's not just to have X% amount of, you know, minorities there.
It's not an
There's actually,
extracurricular activity. Like,
thank
have
you,
him sit at the board and tell y'all how y'all messed up
thank
last year and how to make it better.
you, you know. So I'm so sorry you had to like experience that. I'm assuming the good thing about it is you saw it and you said, I want to do something about it. I want to do something different from it. But I'm sorry that you had to go through that, but it's what it is right now, and we're shifting it to be something else. So that's what it takes. A lot of like-minded individuals to want to fight and stand up to say, hey,
Right.
nah, that's not cool. So that's cool. All right. And you mentioned you and your girlfriend had apps to see where you can go and see in that town what black-owned businesses were around. I usually just Google or word of mouth. So what apps were you referring to?
So there's a particular one. I can't think of the accurate name right now. She has it on her phone, so I'd have to get back to you on that.
Yeah,
But there
get
is
back
an
to
app
me
where
because
you can
I'm
find
interested.
there is an app that's made for black-owned businesses specifically. But we did end up, so we used that one, and we did use Yelp and specifically typed in black-owned businesses.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
I'm serious about mine. I'm supporting
Yeah, I
us.
am too. I am too. And I usually get word of mouth or at an event. I meet different entrepreneurs,
Hmm.
word of mouth or Google, But it's always who knows somebody. They're like, yo, you need to try this spot out, you know. So
That is
yeah,
very, very true. That's
that's
usually how I learn as well.
yeah. Again, it goes back to supporting one another. So that's like the end game, to everything. Okay. Let's see. While attending such an event, was there any shift in your perspective and how to garner connections? And of course, we kind of like talked about that a little bit. Can you go in depth?
So the way that I network changes based off of the environment, and it's usually on my comfort level. Like, I'm completely open and honest to say that I have social anxiety, and some people don't typically guess that from me because I can be social and I can be out at events, but if I don't feel that comfort level, like, I'm gonna retreat within myself, observe everything, and like make mental notes of who I want to reach out to next or when. I like building genuine connections. I don't like doing the fake or the, hi, my name is blah, blah, blah. This is what I do. I know you do this. This is how we can help each other. Like, I typically don't like doing those type of connections. So I did see that happening a lot, but I was able to walk away with at least 5 genuine connections. And I always tell myself that, like, if I go to an event, at least one. I do like 1 to 5 because
Right.
that's realistic. If you walk away with like 10 connections, but you can barely remember who they are, you're going to forget to follow up. But if you make like a genuine connection with them, if you can kiki with them and realize what their favorite this or that is, you'll remember them more and you'll be able to reach out to them and they'll be able to be open and be like, oh yeah, I remember this person. Let me do this, that, and the third. Let me get back to them sooner rather than later. They'll have that sense of urgency. So typically what I see is like, do we communicate the same? Did our energies meet? I'm big on energy. Like,
Yep.
I'm energy myself. So when you meet
Yep.
me, it's like, whoa, this is a lot. So if I meet somebody else and I'm like, all right, I can fuck with their energy. Like, that's
Yeah.
someone that I'm going to stay in contact with. That's someone I'm going to build with. But for that experience being, it was my first experience, I sort of did that. Let me, stay back and see what's going on, observe, but I was still able to walk away again with about like 5 genuine connections.
That's,
So I always tell people to lead with genuineness because you can smell the fake, the phony as soon as you come up to somebody. So might
that
as well
is
be
true.
authentic and real as soon as you do.
That is true. Trust me, it is real. Like, hi. What you mean? Hey, what's up?
Like, what you
Give me
want?
a
I got
hug.
5 seconds. What you want? Why
Give
you
me a
here?
hug. Right.
And my favorite is like, you be two-stepping and be like, hey, this is your song
Right.
too. And then next thing
Right.
you know, you're like, wait, you own what? Shit, well, here's my
Let
number.
me get my card. Hold that thought. But yeah, it be like that, and yeah. So for the longest, I was like, maybe I have to do business, and then once you get to know somebody, then kind of like get your nah. You gotta smack somebody with who you are initially,
Right.
because it's the personality that sells. It's you that sells. It's
Exactly.
yo, that chick. She was dope as hell. I remember like that.
Like, she was throwing back them handy shots and that ass. You know what? I'm gonna work with her.
We need a link. Right. Too funny. I have a genuine question, honest question. You said someone that I can kiki with. What does that mean? Is that like a New York term?
I don't know if it's a New York term
And I
or
like
if,
shook my head like I knew what I was talking about. Like
girl, I do that shit
I knew
all the
what you were
time.
talking about. And I was like,
All the time.
maybe
All
that
the
just
time.
means like hang out with like Kiki Palmer. She's really cool. Maybe we're cool like that. I don't know. But what do you mean by that?
I wonder if I took it from the gay community. I might have. Kiki is like someone you can joke with, play with, like how we're doing right now, banter with,
Okay.
like that friendly banter. That's like Kiki with.
Okay. See, hey.
I always forget like what slang comes from what community. Like I'll say shit from New York, and then people will say some shit from somewhere else, and I'll be like, "Hold on, excuse me. What was that?"
Right. Hello, come again? I just had to know. I'm asking for myself, not for a friend. I'm asking for myself. But okay. So last but not least, the greatest last question. What great words of wisdom and advice can you offer our readers and aspiring entrepreneurs?
Oof. I gotta come up with like a dope one-liner one day. I'm gonna just sit down and think of it. But
Yeah.
I think the best piece of advice I can give overall in general is why you, and for you to sit into that why you, because if you have a dope idea, like why should you do this dope idea? What does this dope idea mean to you? Like what authenticity do you have to this concept, to this idea? And what I mean by that is if this topic, if this project is important to you, why? Why is it important to you? What happened in your life that made this important to you that you think you should like run forward with it? Is it just you see something online and this person to your left is thriving off of it and now you want to be a carbon copy? Cool. You're not going to make it. Or if you
Right.
are, your longevity is going to be real freaking short. If you have a true reason behind it, that's what you need to lead with. And that's what you always need to start with. It's crazy that I'm saying like lead with vulnerability, because vulnerability has been a trend and a topic in my life, especially at the beginning of the year, that I was uncomfortable with. But
Mm-hmm.
when people ask me, why are you doing BlackMenCryToo? I had to get comfortable with saying, hey, I lost a male friend to suicide. Hey, I was in a mutually abusive relationship. Hey, this guy was really seeing me as his like safe space, and I wanted to create that for more men. These are 3 personal, painful reasons, but this is the reason why I'm doing it. And that's what's making people more into my mission and want to support it, because they're seeing the genuine authenticity behind it. It's not, oh, mental health is a hot topic right now, let me join on this wave. Like, nah, we can see that shit. And if you can't see it at the beginning, it will get exposed. And a lot of people have been getting exposed this week in the culture. So
Yep.
always stay true to who you are and understand, and make sure you lead with your why.
Yep, exactly. And I really appreciate that. It's very important that you're genuine about what the fuck you're doing. If it doesn't come from the heart, don't do that shit.
Right.
It's not for you.
Right. You just
But
doing it to do it. Let somebody else do it.
right. And as long as your intentions are pure to help, people will follow. People will fall in line because we all need help. And whatever it is, that you're actually doing. But with what you got going on, it's genuine, it's true, it's pure, comes from the heart. We need that shit. We need it in our communities. So I think that, I don't know how else to say it, but keep on the great work,
I
keep
appreciate
on
you,
the great
sis.
work. Yeah, I appreciate you. So, let's see. Do you want to let our three followers know where we can find you on YouTube, Instagram, no Facebook, right?
I wouldn't.
No, okay, no, just Instagram and YouTube.